you're driving and you sneeze, when drive it's dangerous.
Yep.
If you're walking and you sneeze, it can be,
well, if you've got an obstruction there,
obstruction type. So for that reason, then you make sense. Oh yeah, just mean calm down, let your system just calm down, and then you be a bit more level-headed when you're going out. So you can see the reason behind that. But the reason gets lost, and then it becomes more into eat this sugar. Eat this sugar, party in the glass peeler. Next thing you know, people splashing party in your face.
I mean, we laugh at it constantly. I mean, to tell you the truth, we're laughing at it now. But other people see it as really serious. I mean, they think, oh, we have to do it. I mean, I don't know, how ritualistic is that? I have to eat sugar every time I sneeze. I mean, like you said, like, I could be walking on the roads, I could be walking, I sneeze, and I smack my head into the lamppost, got a lump on my forehead, I have to have sugar. Now, if I have sugar, that lump isn't going to go if I have the sugar, you know, it's understanding.
Might give you sugar high.
Maybe, I mean, that might be a good thing, might keep you awake when I'm at work.
No, I don't think sugar high is good. Not too much sugar.
I don't want anyone to go out and start randomly having sugar. But, like, what I was saying earlier is, these things have become a ritualistic thing. One Sakhi that does come into my mind, personally, when me and Manvir did organise this last week, of this ritualistic talk, was the Sakhi of Guru Nanak Dev Ji when he went to the river Ganges in India. He went to the river Ganges and he saw there's lots of Hindu pilgrims there. They follow the water on to the west, I think it's to the east or the west, in a direction. So they're following water towards the sun. Yeah. And Guru Nanak Ji looks and he's just looking and he's thinking, So what does Guru Nanak Ji do? He goes into the actual river Ganges himself, stands there and just watches and then observes everyone. Then he starts throwing the water opposite direction. So he's throwing it in the opposite direction. And these people are just sort of like laughing between themselves. What's he doing? Look what he's doing. And, you know, but they don't understand anything at the moment. So at this time, Guru Nanak is throwing it in the other direction. He's throwing it in the other direction and people are laughing at him. And I think this one Jethro of the pilgrim, the leader, he has actually the guts to come to Guru Nanak Dev Ji and says to Guru Nanak Ji, why are you throwing your water that way instead of towards the sun? And Guru Nanak Ji goes on and says, wait, I'm doing it because I want to throw water for my crops in Punjab. And they all started laughing. What are you on about? You got to throw water down all the way to Punjab. Punjab's 200, 300 miles down the river. How can you throw your water there? They laughed at him. And Guru Nanak Ji went, exactly. He goes, what do you mean exactly? Exactly. You're throwing your water that way. I'm throwing mine towards the sun. Your sun is a million miles away to your ancestors. How, if I can't get my crops 200, 300 miles down that river, how are you going to get your water to your ancestors, which is a million miles away? And they all thought, hang on, this is true. And this is what Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, that if you're going to serve the saints, I mean, he's talking about the saints here, the elders that are talking about. If you're going to serve them, this is the time now to serve the saints, not when they're dead. This is the perfect time. So that, to me, I found that very interesting. In fact, I found that really, it's like a shock to the sort of mind. I mean, I thought, it's like a shock to the system. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, this is true. We're doing rituals all the time, and Guru Nanak Ji showed these people in such a way. It's unbelievable.
जालो ऐसी रीत जित में प्यारा विसरे ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ जालो ऐसी रीत जित में प्यारा विसरे burn those rituals meaning ਉਸ ਰੀਤ ਰਿਵਾਜਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਛੱਡੋ give up those rituals traditions ਜਿਤ में प्यारा विसरे where you forget God ਮਤਲਬ ਆ what's Guru Ji telling us ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਕਰੋ which join you to God ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਕਰੋ ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੇ ਯਾਦ ਜੁੜਦੀਆਂ ਮਤਲਬ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਦੀਆਂ so those are things that throwing water to the sun is probably like not getting very close to God it might be like it's a bit like we're having a bit of a water fight but it's amazing how Maharaj the tariqe he used the ways he used to he only could have gone there and oh everybody hang on you know give it up you're a bunch of fools ਨਾ ਪਰ Maharaj ਦੇਖੋ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਤਰੀਕਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਵਰਤਿਆ So I think with this Sakhi, two things come to mind. One is this is a ritual, a blind ritual, which is of no use.
Yeah, definitely.
ये कर्म कांड है जो बिल्कुल ही मतलब कोई मतलब है नहीं कोई फायदा है नहीं. पर if you look at मत्था टेकना, नितनेम करना, वो भी कर्म कांड बन सकता. Doing matha tek, doing nitnem, going to the gurdwara, wearing bana, even keeping your hair can be ritualistic. Yeah. But it shouldn't be ritualistic. Yeah, it shouldn't. So there's some things which you shouldn't be doing, which is ritualistic. Like I think someone mentioned, I think the email, I think पिछले हफ्ते किसी ने ईमेल कीता सी अपा जी रखड़ियां
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਹਾਂਜੀ
that I don't know I've never tried a ਰੱਖੜੀ I think once in India when I aged when I was ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਮੋੜਨਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਗਏ ਸੀ ਤਾਂ but I personally think that's a bit ritualistic ਧਾਗਾ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਕੀ ਮਿਲਣਾ
ਹਾਂਜੀ
so that's one thing which I think a lot of Punjabis
I mean I faced that a number of times the ਧਾਗਾ which we call the rakhi is actually the actual meaning behind rakhi is the fact that it's supposed to the boys normally tie it on the girl to say that you know what it's supposed to protect you so by protecting you you tie this thread and it will always protect you. Now I used to do this unconsciously. I used to do this every year and I think I used to give my cousins and I have adult sisters so I used to give my cousins the £5 £10 notes at a young age and they would tie this rakhi and they look at that funky pattern, maybe it was pink, red and someone tried the pink one. I got how can you try a pink one and a boy is really young, was at a really young age and it's sort of until recently when I started getting into Sikhi and I started understanding hang on, how can this thread because I asked the question to myself, how can this thread protect my sister? I mean, when she's in need, God forbid something happens to her, that thread's not going to protect her, is it? I mean, the only thing that can protect us is if we do constant ardas, about keeping everyone being happy. Everything. That's the true protection, I think, in my eyes. I don't know if you do, but naam kamai, I mean, the more naam kamai you do, everything, it's together, it comes together, and I think rakhi, wearing a rakhi, I don't think a thread can actually protect you in any way. Unless you can use it as a weapon, which I doubt you.
Je Maharaj Janu da khandan kita hove, so Maharaj condemns the Janu, the thread of the Hindu, saying this will not help you in the next life or this life. Janu da khandan kita, paki ora matlab rakhi da khandan nahi kita, hai dhaga hi hai. It's a piece of a string, whether it's in a form of covering the whole body or whether it's tied on the wrist. Sorry to interrupt you. I think we've got a caller in who's asked a question. Caller wants to know why wear the kara, the star and kirpan. I think you mentioned at the beginning of the show.
Yes, we did.
So I think we'll cover that somewhere. I think
we'll do that after we've done that into the
conclusion. We'll cover it near the end. We'll cover that. So whoever phoned in, thank you very much. And anybody else, the number should be on the screen. Do call in or give us an email. Baji, email address just in case.
The actual email address for the show is discoversikhi@seekchannel.tv. That's discoversikhi@seekchannel.tv. And please do give us any suggestions, or if you'd like to come on the show next week, maybe to talk about anything that you may have, or any questions maybe, please do contact us. But back onto the actual subject itself, I was talking about the rakhi. I mean, a lot of you at home are probably thinking, well, hang on a minute. I've been to places, I've been to people's houses, but I've seen a picture of Bibi Nanki giving a rakhi to Guru Nanak giving a rakhi to Bibi Nanki. And when I saw that picture, I thought, oh, it's got to be true, that has to be. And come on, there's a picture on it, it's got to be true. But, after I understood, I thought, hang on, that's a bit wrong. There's people out there that are trying to sort of, how can I say, trying to create their own sort of views into Sikhi, distort it. But Sikhi is so simple, but we all these things that our sort of things to make it, we try and make it complicated ourselves, don't we? I think it is. But I think we need to focus on the main subject of what we're doing here. What other rituals do you think that there is possibly out there, or what we can do in order to combat these false sort of rituals that we do ourselves?
In the end, I just want to share a quick short story.
Okay, yeah.
As I'm just used to usually sharing stories. Like a small parable, meaning it's a short made-up story which you actually learn something from it. I heard this from a Kathavajik. There's a banda, a person, and he is the Gyaniji said this, used this as an example of ritual. What's a ritual and how can we overcome it? Ek agya, there's a fire. Oh banda aag nu haath launda. He touches the fire and obviously he burns himself, as you would expect.
Yeah.
I'm not going to touch the fire, yes, because it's dangerous. So he's very careful with the ag. And with the ag, he makes sure that he doesn't touch it. So jithe ag balda hai, oh kadi haath nahi ag vich rakhda. Apna haath nahi kadi ag vich rakhda. So what happens is, he meets somebody else. So let's imagine his son, or a munda. Apne mundu nu kehanda, fir tu put ag de vich haath nahi rakhna. Don't put your hand in the fire. And he goes, why, Dad? Pata baap nu puche kyun?